How's it going everyone? Tazen here, and today I want to do a personal story talking about dot hacks. So since we found out about Last Recode coming out and me talking about dot hacks so much on my channel, I've heard so many awesome stories from all of you about how you got into dot hack, how you discovered it, and as well as how you feel about the series, especially seeing it come back and how excited it's made all of you. So based on this, based on requests also from people, and especially based on Last Recode coming out, it being the 15th anniversary of dot hack, I thought I'd just talk today about my story of how I first discovered and got into dot hack. So for me, it's a really interesting story in terms of how I feel about it, because dot hack was a series that, for me at least, came out of nowhere. It was something I was very unaware of, and I just found it by chance, and I found it by myself. So I got my PS2 when I was about 12 years old or so, and I got it because all I wanted to play was Final Fantasy X, and then Kingdom Hearts came out, and it's all I wanted to play as well. So when I got my PS2, I went straight through Final Fantasy X, I went straight through Kingdom Hearts. I love those games, and to date, they are still one of my favourite games and also of my favourite series. But I found out about them through certain means of media. So Final Fantasy X, I knew about it through magazines, etc. I knew about it because I played Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, and I love Final Fantasy. Kingdom Hearts I found out because there was an advertisement on TV, and then or at least my interest in Kingdom Hearts began through seeing it and being so interested in seeing this whole action combat style as opposed to turn-based that I had grown up playing. So it was sort of unreal for me. And then, after getting my PS2, I was 12 years old, and the year dot hack first came out on PlayStation 2 was the year I discovered it. So it's going back to dot hack Volume 1 Infection. And this cover is where it all began for me. So just going into my local electronics boutique, that's what it was called at the time, now EB Games in Australia, affiliated with GameStop, I believe, also EB Games in Canada. And I would see this game on the shelf, and I was just so fascinated by the cover. I just love seeing all these characters. I've always very much loved anime, and seeing the way they're drawn, I was just drawn to that, no pun intended. And seeing Aura, I felt like there's something enigmatic or something resonating about just seeing her, and all these characters around, almost as if they're protecting her or they're fighting for her. And then seeing this symbol here, which to me resembles infinity. So I was very curious, that's the word. And when I looked at the back, I read it, and I was also just fascinated by just this character who, if you don't know, or you do know, it's Kite, the main character of the first 4 games in the world R1. And I would see it, over several months, and I was always tempted to want to get it and play it. But obviously money isn't something that, I had readily available at that age. But it was definitely something like, if I had the money, I would get this game. But again, I knew no one who'd played dot hack, and internet wasn't such a big thing. Now you can just go type on YouTube, anything, and get reviews and stuff. So it wasn't something you could do back then. So it was more so I didn't have any idea about, what this game, how it played or anything, other than just looking at the back and look at the front. So it was more of a gamble, it was more of a gamble for me to go ahead and buy this game, in the case that it turns out to be something I didn't like at all. Or, because I don't have much money, or I didn't have much money, I should say. But then, where I have a real strong memory of this, not just from the game itself, but personal memories, is that one of my really close friends in high school at the time, we used to do cross country together every Saturday with the cross country club at school. And one time, I think after or before a cross country, I remember we were sitting on just one of the hills there, and we're talking. And all of a sudden I found out that he has this game and he plays it. And when I found out about that, all I wanted to do was just ask him more and more and more about the game. And he told me it's action RPG, and obviously my memories of action RPG are only from Kingdom Hearts at that time, and that he really enjoyed the game and just everything about it. I'm not sure if he mentioned 4 parts. I'm not sure if we knew much about that back then. Obviously the others weren't released. But just hearing from him solidified that I wanted to get this game. It's also something I want to get and be able to play, and talk about with him more and more. So I remember as soon as I could, I went back to get this game. But what's funny was, at the time, so it had a limited release in Australia, very small. I would only ever see just one copy or so on the shelf at EB Games. But at that time when I went to get it, it wasn't on the shelves at EB Games. So I remember my mum, she was so lovely and she took me around to all these different EB Games all over the city until one had it on the shelf, and that is this copy right here. So I got it, and it was, was all of the above, one of the best experiences in my video game sort of hobbies, history, life, etc. I just played this game so strongly, so hard, did everything you could, and it led me and my friend to have my dad very kindly purchase from Amazon the walkthrough for both of us. So there was a store that my friend had pre-ordered from, so this never got released in Australia, but there was a store so they could import it for him and stuff, and you waited weeks and weeks and eventually months and months, you never got it. So I spoke to my dad, and Amazon isn't something that was very easy, or still isn't as easy to order things from to Australia. I mean, in terms of pricing, we have several different, extra fees we have to pay. Hopefully that will change when Amazon gets I believe it's getting a factory here in Australia or something. But yeah, so my dad made the purchase and it worked out to be affordable because we got two. So this is still my original copy of my manual, and I've kept it in perfect condition. And again, I love it so much. So I played the game as much as I could. I used the manual as much as I could, learned all the secrets, and that allowed me to then smoothly go through the rest of the games without needing any manuals or everything, because all the combat mechanics, secrets and everything remain pretty much the same. So that's what I love about this manual. It really gave me that kickstart I needed. But till today, I keep these close to me. I cherish them so much. And, again, I'm talking more so at the moment just about my experiences with the people around me, etc. So for one, this friend of mine, until I had made my first video on .hack, which was reaction to the last Recode announcement trailer, he was the only person I'd ever known in real life who had played .hack and I had spoken to. So in saying that, it really means a lot when I talk to all of you in my videos, because you were all the second, I should say, group of people that I've ever spoken to in my life about .hack, and that's why I've just embraced it so much and I talk about .hack so much, because I've spent my whole life enjoying and playing this game but having no one to talk to. My friend, maybe a year after I got the game, I moved to a different state and school. He also moved to a different school, and unfortunately I've never seen him since. So those were my only memories and experiences talking to someone else about .hack, which also give me a strong memories and good feelings of thinking about him, and hoping as well. But also, all of you, it really means a lot. You're not just subscribers or anything, you're all individual people with your own stories and lives, so I really just love listening to you and talking to you. It means so much. So thank you, And then obviously there's so much more I could go on about the stories of the games themselves and how they attracted me to .hack so much. But I really want to focus on the uniqueness of the personal experience it had for me, in relation to my friend, in relation to each of you, in relation to my mother taking me around to all the stores and getting the .hack game, and also my father for ordering, the book from Amazon. Till today, that's also the only purchase I've ever made on Amazon. So it means so much to just have .hack be a part of my life and then learn about all the different aspects of the stories, the different themes they tackle, the different settings. And again, back then, the story of being trapped in a video game was very foreign and new to me, and I'm sure almost everyone. Now it's so different. It's such a mainstream thing with Sword Art Online, Log Horizon. But back then, it was a very unique thing. So I'm so blessed and honoured to be able to have experienced it back then, when it was something brand new and fresh and something invigorating, and seeing them with this VR headset, which again, now you can buy virtual reality headsets commercially. Back then, never seen such a thing in my life. So it's so cool to see what they did and how they thought about the future and gaming, and how they took this sort of science fiction with this fantasy, essentially, where you get your consciousness gets trapped in the game, or, of certain characters. So again, I could go on for hours about this. I love it so much, and obviously that's why I will continue to talk about .hack for as long as I enjoy this series. So yeah, anyways, what I would really love to hear is your stories of how you got into .hack. I've heard from some of you throughout the videos, but I'd love if in the comment section below, go crazy, you know, write as little or as much as you want about how you got into it. Was it back during the original series? Was it through one of the animes? Was it through GU? Or will it, I should say, also be through Last Recode coming out? I've heard from several of you that this will be the first time you are playing .hack, and actually listening to me has gotten you excited in part. So that's really awesome. Thank you so much, and I'm glad that I can introduce you to a series that I've loved so much for my entire life, or I should say my entire gaming life, I should say. Not entire gaming life, I've been playing games for a very long time, but from a teenager till current, you know, I should say the entire history of .hack, because I've been playing, or I've been part of .hack for 14 and a half years, or 50, yeah, it was somewhere within the first 6 to 12 months that .hack Infection had come out that I got, and I believe within the first 6 months because it disappeared off shelves quite soon after Infection's release. So anyways, I'll stop it here. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and yeah, anyways, until next video, stay spot on.